things rolling. Hello, come on in. We'll form the whole circle here. This is the Cosmic Watch. I'm Franklin, your astrologer. We'll be joined in the chat room by friends and also new people that have yet to make an appearance with us. And if I ask who's going to be with us, who's with us right now, what is taking place out there right now? Everyone finishing, everybody getting ready to get into the mood as we all finish up what has been a hard week. It's been a very hard week. The moon sign has gone into Cancer now, and we're still waiting on the full moon that's on the way on Monday, and that full moon will be rising in Leo. And here's SJ joining us in the chat room and saying hi. SJ, has what sort of a week has it been for you? What if what's on your mind tonight is change. There's change that you're considering making, SJ. This is you. Now, yes, that I'm feeling a little better, and this is why you came tonight, was to check on me, was to see that I was doing okay. I've been having some really tough weeks family wise, and see, that's what this moon in Cancer right now is all about. It's all about family, and we're about to change over to Leo as we get to the full moon. SJ says that the sun is moving back. Wife is a good thing. My son doing the very same thing. Very, very same thing. And it's purpose. And even though it's hard to see exactly, all the way back to another state. See, mine is going the other way, coming back, and the movement has to be. It has to happen. With what's going on with your son there, SJ, is the way you feel that it is a good thing there is blessed. That's the way you have to look at this and be a blessing and help things out. And now here's Romeo saying hi. Romeo, I can't remember that we've had you on before. SJ saying I thought of you. That's a very powerful thing, SJ. It's what we do here is form a circle, and as we reach out and we find people like Romeo coming in for the first time tonight on the couch. Romeo, let me, what is this that I'm feeling for you, that you're trying to defend the right. You got people who are outnumbering. You see all those polls that are coming up trying to rattle your cage there. Even though you're outnumbered, you need to know that you're in the right. What you really think. And this is this is this is you defending what is rightfully yours, standing up for what you know is the right thing to do. And that's why you're here tonight, is to get that affirmation, to get that validation that you're doing the right thing by not giving in to what other people are telling you is the best thing to do. The when on Monday, when this full moon is the full moon is going to rise in, actually in like uh, Cancer, and then come into the um, the Leo aspect, and of course we're sun sign right now is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about pushing the boundaries, finding out how far you can go. Aquarius is the rebel. Romeo, what sign are you? I'm Pisces myself, and Pisces people are right. They're in line second to Aquarius people, as far as there being seers and people with intuition. And Romeo says birthday is the 12th of April of 92. So if we add your birthday, and you're what you're Aries, right? To be in the first part of April there. So you're that first house, but your birth number is going to be 1 plus 2 plus 4. So that's 7. And then we add in the year, 17 and 28. Your Romeo, your birth number is 10. And that's a very interesting life. It's about being able to change horses in midstream. At about halfway through your life, you're going to make a huge turn. You're going to stop doing what you were doing and completely change over to something else. That's the 10 influence. 10 is both an ending and a new beginning. And this is what your life is going to be built around, is those endings and new beginnings, and being flexible enough to go with the flow, and see what your guides are trying to show you by opening some doors, and closing off other doors. And this is what your life is it is going to be, as you find the directions. And the biggest thing that you have to look out for is fake flattery. Other people telling you what you want to hear so they can get what they want out of you. This is why you're going to have so many changes, so many stops and starts, because some people in your life are going to prove to be untrue. They're just, it's just flattery. So this is why you can't believe your own press clippings, right, Miguel? Right? It's you have to be very, very honest with yourself, and you'll be able to see through all of these. ruses as they come along and learn from them. And this is why people come into our life, is to give us a lesson. And the best thing we can do is to be flexible, to realize that we don't know it all, and that we're going to learn something new before the day is over. Every day is uh, every day is completely unique. It's completely different. It's a complete new opportunity, and every day has its own personality. This today today adds up. Today's date, which is February 3rd of 2023. That adds up to a 12, and to look at those who are born on this day with the birth number of 1 plus 2 equals 3. It's all about them expressing themselves. And here's Cody joining the chat room. Cody, what kind of a week have you been experiencing? Can you sum it up as to one particular direction that the Aquarius sun has been pulling you? Aquarius usually is the rebel. Aquarius pushes out against all restrictions. Anytime they feel someone is like throwing a lasso over them, they're moving along. They're getting out, and they're moving. So under this Aquarius sun, and right now the moon's in Cancer, and so the moon is really doubly focused on it. The Cancer people are ruled by the moon. So this is it's almost a full moon situation. Cody says, up and down week. Some people I've dealt with, but doing all right. It's almost been an on hold week. Nothing's been resolved this week. Things seem to have been just held over and pushed on out. And it's really, this particular day is a very memorable day, because it's the day that Buddy Holly's plane crashed. This is the day that the music died. It's in 1959. The biggest act in entertainment in the country was Buddy Holly, coming up out of Texas. And Buddy Holly was on a tour of Iowa in a school bus that had no heater. One of the guys got frostbite from being in this school bus, so they rented out somebody's airplane in Iowa. It was probably a crop duster, right? And they cram all of the stars into this little airplane that was overloaded, and it took off, and it came right on back down in the cornfield. So you've got Buddy Holly, who's the first rock and roller who wore glasses. You got Richie Valens, who was the first ethnic rock and roller. And you've got the other guy who's the disc jockey turned recording artist. That's J.P. Richardson, the Big Bopper. The Big Bopper was had the biggest hit record of all of them. He had Chantilly Lace, which in '59 was considered to be a novelty song. And in 1959, this is there was so much going on in rock and roll. Not only did Buddy Holly's plane come down, Elvis Presley was drafted. and sent to Germany, right? Little Richard, who invented rock and roll, Little Richard denounces rock and roll and goes back into the seminary. And the the biggest rock and roll act in 1959 was Alvin and the Chipmunks. That's what was left of of music after this particular year. And the early '60s is truly what the Beatles saved the world from, right? The the music of 1962 is so good, Ray Charles, what I say, and and it's also so bad because Pat Boone is doing cover records of the same songs. But it this is the day that is also known for the sinking of a ship that is at the very beginning of World War One. In 1917, there's an unarmed American cargo ship is trying to get into England to put off its cargo. Between it and the coast, there's a German U-boat. And the U-boat, instead of just sinking the ship, went out to them, made them surrender, and allowed everyone in the crew to get onto the lifeboats. This was the way people fought up until this very time, and then that allowing of the other side to live through is an an historic event, and it correlated to what was going on in the Western movies at that time. In the silent movies, when one of the two guys hiding behind rocks ran out of bullets, he said, "Hey, I'm out of bullets," and the other guy stopped shooting. The fight was over because they were out of bullets. And it was a very different way of looking at the world. So far different from the mean spirited way that we have of crushing the enemy in today's world. When World War One ended, there was such an amount of carnage that the people declared it to be the war to end all wars, and they disarmed. They actually disarmed all around the world. And then in the 1930s, beginning with Italy, when the president dies and strong men take over, countries began to rearm, and the it's the beginning of what we see now. These wars that won't go away because nobody really wins a war, and nobody ever considers that they lose a war. They keep fighting forever, 100 years after the war goes on. Cody says one of the greatest silent comedians, Buster Keaton. Man, the guy who invented physical humor, right? Did some of the most fantastic stunts. Keaton would jump onto a running car or jump off of a running train. It was remarkable. Chaplin, Fatty Arbuckle, and the Keystone Cops, and all of that comes from the mind of Thomas Edison. Edison, who invented a little box called the Nickelodeon. You put in a nickel and you look through these little keyholes and you see someone dance or whatever, a little 5 minute show. That is the beginning of movies. And then Cody says, Laurel and Hardy, um, this is the beginning, of all the slapstick uh, comedy that we have, and it all builds upon itself, like everything else in the world. You learn. Motion pictures are the greatest way of teaching that mankind has ever known. This is why that ability is what led so many people to condemn television for not living up to what it could be, not really educating, but it is life imitating art, or is art imitating life. It's things have gotten so far into the future that you can't look back and see. And Cody says, yes, I agree. So this is why the future of education has to be what we saw during the COVID epidemic. The very best teachers could be put on video and presented in a different situation other than having 40 children sitting there trying to look at a video. Of course, that doesn't work. But there are so many ways that do work. And because of all the dangers in schools are going to put themselves out of business. Brick and mortar buildings full of children, some of which are there for the right reasons and some are not. And it only takes one who's not to disrupt the actual learning that can happen. Video truly is the way to learn. I mean, look at the world today. You can turn on a video of anything and learn how to do it. This is what computers were designed to do, to be an entire library of information at your fingertips. You ask any question, and this is we are here in the computer age where our thought is able to reach others who think the same way, who think of the same thoughts. And there's nothing more powerful on this planet than huge amounts of people thinking the same thought at the same time. It's a way of sending a wave of love that can circle the entire globe, and be received by people who can receive it. Cody says the motion picture was the big screen version of vaudeville, radio, and the make your own vision of vaudeville, and television in the small screen of vaudeville. It is what people are entertained by, and people sometimes are mesmerized. You can get too much of anything. You can get too much of a good thing, and this is why the way that we set up the educational system and try to hammer all this information into young minds is really a waste of time. They're not getting useful information. It reminds me of high school when I took trigonometry. Number one, I can't see things that are that small. All right. It never made any sense to me, but I've never seen any practical value of all those young people that sat in that room and pounded away at this stuff. There's so much time that's wasted. There's so much time that is. Cody says it is when you think about it, the schools seem to be all running for the wrong. Schools seem to be very confused about how to deliver an education. It's what usually really fouls up anything is number one, having a hierarchy, and also anything where there's privilege, where you get put onto the school board because of who you are, rather than your education or your ability or your interest. People have been trying to control what other people learn forever, and that's not the point. The whole point of having a college is that you open your mind and you learn new things. Hey, here's Nini saying hi and hello to everyone. Nini, what? Let's see. One. Wow, you're having a good week, Nini. This is things are rolling extremely well. Something new started. Something has started that you couldn't stop now if you wanted to, and it's going to turn out very well. There's a new beginning, and that's closure of the old. That's right, and something is really about to kick off in your life. I have an interview next Wednesday. Let's is that what I'm seeing here? Oh God. Okay. The person that you're interviewing with is going to recognize the gifts and talents that you have, Nini. They're going to this is the person you've been looking for, the person who's been looking for you. They know exactly who you are, and they're going to pave the way for you. This is going to be a real good experience. And here's Cody saying the movies, radio, and television was the media that continues vaudeville, burlesque, plays the. Yeah, there isn't it wonderful that there's music for each and every occasion, right there at your fingertips. That was what in my childhood, what we were promised was a jukebox that contained every song they ever recorded, and that was what they were shooting for in the future. And it never it that's too much choice. You have to narrowcast. What begins as broadcast doesn't work anymore. Everything has to be narrowcast and sent down down the line to those who can enjoy it. There's a station for everybody. There's a way of enjoying the satellite hookup that we have. Everything in the universe is circular. Everything ends up back where it started. The spirit world. You come out of there. You make this circular life, and you end up going back. And then you get to decide if you're going to need another life, or you get to decide if you have become enlightened. Very few people have. You have the opportunity to come back, to be reincarnated into another life. So now you have the chance to choose the situation that you think is going to exist, 25 years from now, of these people that you're deciding you want as your parents. Can you look into the future? Can you see what's happening? Is there a future out there that's written in stone that you have to follow? There's not. There are several different futures in the Akashic records, the Book of Life, which has the story of every soul that's on this planet. And boy, that's important to remember. You're just as important and no more important than any other soul on this planet. And when your story is written as you live your life, the Book of Life now contains your past, which is solid. You can't change what you've done in the past, but the future has maybe 4 or 5 different options. That's what evolution is, taking every pathway, right? That's why you can't do it all in one life, why you have reincarnation. So you get to choose when you're out there. Cody says, you've got to grow up in one of the greatest decades. I did. I There was never a time in my life when there was not television. I was born in 1950, and it's about 48 when they have the first networks going, coast to coast, and everybody starts watching the same things all the time. Wonderful World of Disney was to sell color TVs. The Flintstones were rushed onto the air because the cartoon was so easy to make in color. And it was the year they were trying to sell color TVs. And things get on for all sorts of different reasons. Do you remember the beginning of Hee Haw? Being from Nashville, I happen to know. Nene says baby booming years. Exactly. And we boomers now have to be taken care of, now have to be, catered to, because we buy the most stuff. And that's what rules this country is advertising. So, baby boomers, it's finally going to pay off. We are finally here. Seen Hee Haw plenty of time. Okay, Hee Haw was a joke on Nashville from the West Coast. Hee Haw was the summertime replacement of the #1 television show in America, Laugh-In. Hee Haw was a country version of Laugh-In. And it was all shot in Hollywood with Hollywood people in the original show. The first year had nothing to do with Nashville whatsoever. And it was such an extraordinary hit. I mean, they couldn't believe they were making fun of what they were doing there, and they were really thumbing their nose at it. And everybody said, "Why, that's the best thing you people have put on the air in years." It began what a 20-year run, and of course, in order to have live country music, they brought it to Nashville. And produced it, from year 2 on, as though it had always been there. And it was that vision of Nashville that the world saw, that the world picked up. I spent years driving a semi coast to coast, and when people see you in like a Nashville T-shirt, they're wow, they want to talk to you. They want to they're interested. It's really amazing how the Hee Haw story grew out of a joke. They were trying to make fun of Nashville. Cody says, see Hee Haw, mother grew up watching Hee Haw. Yes, syndication forever. Nene says, well, Cody, Um, I see laughing at the time was considered to be the hippest show on television. at, at a time at a time when television tried to be groovy, tried to fit in, man. Tried tried to win over the long hairs that it had been denouncing just a year or two before. Nene says my grandmother used to live watching the Grand Ole Opry. Oh man, this and in the 1960s, the country music stars of the Grand Ole Opry performed at a place called the Ryman Auditorium, which is right in the heart of downtown Nashville. And out the back door was an alley that led to Tootsie's Orchid Lounge, where everybody would sneak over and get a drink, and then come back over and be on the Opry. And it was the only music genre in the world where the people actually felt like they were kindred to the stars, that the stars really cared about them. And this is where the fanfare begins what Nashville is today. And that was there was it all begins as the disc jockey convention, because there were so few country music radio stations out across the country in big cities. So once a year, all of the small town country music disc jockeys were invited to Nashville to mingle with the stars in the hotels and take back little recordings of, whenever I'm in Podunkville, I always listen to, whatever. And it was a way of the stars meeting the actual people out there. Dolly Parton came to Nashville as a teenager, plugging her songs. I mean, she literally rode the bus to Nashville with her guitar case, and it was such a city that took people in like that, where it was safe to be, where Bob Dylan came here to record because he could sleep on the couch of people that he knew, didn't have to fool with hotels. It was a very different place. Nene says, love watching the Opry. The Opry was one of the early television hits. This is why the Grand Ole Opry stars wear the sequin suits, because of their television show that they had in the early 1950s. Television embraced country music, as country as it could possibly be, and wrestling. Wrestling was one of the early hits in television, and wrestling went through a lot of different phases with people like Gorgeous George. Gorgeous George was a New York City psychiatrist who saw the value in these people getting all worked up at wrestling matches and blowing off steam, blowing off all that energy they would have used, abusing other people. So he was trying to save the world, and people hated him so much. I mean, farmers out in Iowa had heart attacks while they were watching his matches. Gorgeous George introduced cheating to wrestling. The Gorgeous George had gorgeous women in his corner who would distract the referee while George was doing his whatever he wanted to somebody else that in the ring, and everybody saw this. And they're all yelling at the referee, and they can't believe it's happening, and George keeps winning, and the character that he presents is shoulder length blonde hair and a very flamboyant attitude, and getting the crowd riled up was his forte. So Gorgeous George is the most hated man in America. When when George walks the streets of New York City, people are yelling at him. And hey, you cheater. And all of the hatred that came to him was channeled. All those people thinking the same thought at the same time. George lost his bearings. It's like a voodoo curse. George is in the locker room at Madison Square Garden. He's in costume, and they come to him and they say, one of your patients is having trouble over at the mental ward. He goes to help the patient and ends up fighting with the guards trying to get the patient out. They put him into the institute, and he never was seen again. That was the end of Gorgeous George. So Cody's saying, so much history of the Ryman Auditorium, birthplace of the Grand Ole Opry. Yeah. It begins as a radio show. Let's put on a show in the old barn, kids. Upstairs in the showroom, right, getting through a powerful history of running shows in this one. Oh, if there's a theater that can talk, it's the Ryman Auditorium. Every person who's ever played it has felt that feeling on the stage, on the stage of the auditorium. And Nene says, I like Dusty Rock and Ric Flair. Oh, before your time, I had family members who were wrestlers, local wrestlers. And their last name was Green. And one Christmas, when they came to visit my grandparents, they had green hair. It was a remarkable experience for a youngster. The wrestling has always been a big part of television, of the entertainment, and it's because of the story that they tell. And which is just like music. What song sticks with you? It's the one that tells a story, the one that takes you out of your reality into another reality, an alternate reality. That's what all entertainment tries to do, is to lift you up out of the common every day, and show you that you're not alone. That experience that you've had it has been had by others. Cody says, when I went in there, so proud to be a part of this wonderful theaters. These are the people who are within the industry. One of the huge changes was cable TV. Cable TV changed so many different things. Up until that time, every town, or every few towns running together, had their own wrestling program, right? Had their own wrestlers from one little area. And when cable TV brings everybody together and they all start watching the big time wrestling, it's those things that bring the country together. And we don't see that anymore. When you have 500 channels, you don't have everybody watching the same thing every night, and the next day discussing that same thing. I've seen television change from the medium that it was to something else entirely, where there's literally a channel for everyone. The dreamer of many dreams. It did right, cable television change. Yeah. The the thing about Nashville was they had their own TV shows. At if you baby boomers can remember, there was a time when the college football people allowed the broadcast of one college football show, college football game a week. And this is how we ended up with things like the wide world of sports, trying to cover all that time on the weekends with trash sports. Well, in Nashville, they had the production houses right here, and people like Porter Wagner had their own weekly television half-hour show. There were like a half dozen of them back to back to back, where this is instead of having to get on the bus and go to the high schools and junior highs all around the circuit, now they could sit in Nashville and do a show on tape and show it over and over again. And that really changed the whole concept of the traveling musician, being able to be at home. And so what it evolves into is having the entire recording studio in everyone's home, having the ability to just hit a button and it's a recording studio. And everyone has the ability to lay down their thoughts and then can send it on to someone else, can add theirs. And music truly is becoming public domain almost. What it should be. I mean, you're not supposed to make all that money off of music. It's for everyone. Music is getting more and more accessible to each and every one. You write your own songs, and you put them on tape, and it's a very powerful thing, right? To have a soundtrack for your life. Here's Cody saying, grew up more, yeah, the late '80s and the '90s when things have gone to tape, and everyone has their own tape. This was back around 1970 when records gave way to tape. It was thought that they're not going to be able to keep sales up because records wore out. You had to replace records, and tapes lasted forever. And this was the thing about CDs; they were supposed to last forever. And it changes the way that you look at it. Cody's saying many old TV shows were done live and pre-recorded. Yes. Oh man, live TV, live television gives way very quickly to the 7-second delay because so many things happen. Were you watching the Smothers Brothers that night when the Who put too much gunpowder in their cymbals and about decapitated some people with the flying cymbals? And I don't think there's ever been a live show again on network TV. The main entertainment cities in America, the production houses, and this is what we have Danny Thomas to thank, and Lucille Ball, the builders, the television city that was built in California to just churn out the shows, right? And change the people, but keep the shows and keep the same plots. We have the same plots today on the sitcoms as they had in the very beginning. There's the show where you play two different people. All right, we can get our special effects in there. Needy, what was your favorite show as a kid? What do you really wish they would play now with Lucille Ball? Well, she's been on forever, right? A following that will not let her quit. Uh, Jackie Gleason wanted to have TVs in Arizona. Oh, 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 oh. Oh. You in Arizona is where they had the last of the cowboys. In Arizona is where Tom Mix had his personal ranch, where they made um, shorts to go between the movies, and this was the original cowboy way. Uh, it was the, the original cowboys were very different than what it evolved into. Nene says, born in 1969. That's the year I got married, was 1969. I used to love watching Happy Days of Furniture. Oh yeah, yeah. One a spinoff from the other, um, and that's about the time. See, in the late '60s, when everything has to be a spinoff, everything comes out of and so the original spinoff that I can remember is out of the Andy Griffith show, Gomer Pyle. Gomer Pyle becomes the number one show in America. Loved Arizona. Yeah, yeah. Across the South, where the weather is good, where everybody wants to come. Dee say, but now into TCM and the classics. Yes, yes. There are movies that you can watch over and over again, and always see something new coming through the movie. When 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 you realize the amount of effort that's put into a movie, and how they have always been crafted, and how people can base their entire lives upon movies. And the thing to really get from movies is that you direct your own movie. You direct your own life. You get to create what is going to become your life, and your life is your teaching. All you have to do what you're supposed to do in this life is lead it. It is to be the best you that you can be. To not try and be someone else. To take the opportunity to do things your way and show people how that works out. We all learn from each other. This is why there's so many people on the planet. Is because we don't have to actually experience every different life path in order to know the information that we get from from living that life, and taking it out to the extreme, out to the end. We can learn from each other if we are humble enough to admit our own mistakes and allow people to see what we've done, not try to cover our mistakes up. Right? Don't try just because it didn't work out exactly the way you planned. Don't try to erase it, you, because it's useful. How do people ever extend themselves if they don't find out what they can't do? Cody say Jackie Gleason had many dreams from the Gleason book of 55, and kind of like another Walt Disney when you think, now this is true, and people have to believe in your vision for you to be able to walk. And what this shows you is you can't lead people by running way out in front of them, by being the vanguard and trying to lead them along. Leadership arises out of need, out of community, out of um, giving people what they want, not trying to force things upon them. You know, this is my guides telling me that our time is almost up, and to get this out. the the uh, oh yeah, okay, exactly, Cody. What we get to talking about the old days. Um, for Cody, tonight, what what are your guides? What do they have to say to you? Ooh, came upside down, so it's opposite. All right. Now this is you reliving the past. So I guess what they're saying is you can't. There's no sense in trying to go back through the past, relive your childhood. You have to push on. You have to find the other side. Keep keep uh, keep pushing ahead. Don't uh, don't 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 think that just because you've reached the top of one mountain that is the last mountain. When you reach a mountaintop, it's to help you see the next mountain that's coming. Exactly, Cody. Yes, and it's that movement. It's the keep on. There's when you when you climb the mountain you're supposed to end with, you're going to find the people you've been looking for on that mountaintop. That's how you know that you've reached your mountaintop. And each one of us, we're climbing all the time. Our partners, our soulmates are climbing the same mountain, but on the different side. And the odds against you reaching the top at the exact same day, the same moment, is astronomical. So when you reach the top of the mountain and you see nobody's there, take a break. Give the other person a chance. Give the world a chance to catch up with you. And they'll be there. They'll be there. Nini's saying, thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone for being a part and being in the circle tonight. And I appreciate your help so much. This is a wonderful time for me to be able to download and um, help me. I really appreciate all of the contributions. So we will be back with the Cosmic Watch next week, same time, same channel. I'm Franklin, and thank you to all of our people in the chat room tonight, and to you for being a part. I'll see you next time.